Aren't you just tired of Netflix by now? I know I am. I mean, since the pandemic started, it's been like our go-to. What are we going to watch tonight on Netflix? So if you've ever wondered just how much of your life that you've wasted on Netflix, well, fear not, because tech is here to help. That's right. There's a new website that's called timespentonnetflix.com. It's going to tell you this. You upload your entire viewing history file, and then the website tells you things like, well, you could have read 24 books by now, or you could have ran 17 marathons. Okay, true story. Barry and I were watching Netflix together when the plumber arrived with a new sink for our kitchen. And we were right in the middle of a Cobra Kai episode. And I said, I'm going to pause this Netflix show for just a moment to let that sink in. And yeah. He didn't laugh either. Okay. I promise you, they get better. They get better each hour of the Kim Komando show because, after all, it's your source for all things digital. We talk about living the best digital life. It's the most trusted, the biggest show about all things digital. You can find us on 400 top stations from coast to coast. It's called the Kim Komando Show because, after all, I'm America's beloved digital goddess, Kim Komando, here with you once again. Let that sink in. Hey, just a quick reminder, you can also find us on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women in 175 countries and 200 ships at sea. I love that. And I'm sure you have at least a few questions about something digital I can lend a hand to. I know. One? No, you have like a dozen. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is open at 1-888-825-5254. All right, let's start with 5 things that you need to know. And with the pandemic, we're all getting tired of sitting at home, and the vaccines are making things possible. And we're itching to get out and see the world again, right? Just know that depending upon where you're going, you may need to show your digital health passport before being allowed to board a flight. Wait, what did she just say? Not a regular passport. It's a digital health passport that's part of an app that verifies that you're COVID-19 free, and so you can travel. One of those apps is A-OK Pass that shows a verification that a traveler has tested negative for the virus along with your vaccination record. You scan a QR code and you're good to go. And it's not just something that's being considered. A recent Wall Street Journal report shows that these passports are already being tested in airports like Paris, Rome, and Singapore. And it's not only in airports. Airlines such as JetBlue and United are also testing this technology. And this kind of digital health certificate could be a game changer, really, for tourism, live events, and, of course, schools and colleges. But what could it mean for your data privacy? Remains to be seen. Depends upon the security practices of the developer, of course. And A-OK Pass isn't the only one. IBM is said to have one on the way, too. I'm telling you one thing. These digital health passports, they're going to really take off. All right, number 2 on our list, honk your horn if you want an Apple car. That's right. For years, they've been talking about an Apple electric vehicle, and rumors have really started to pick up steam over the past few weeks. It's been reported that Apple is now working on the project with Hyundai. Not a lot of details, but they are investing $3.6 billion into Hyundai's subsidiary Kia later this month. According to CNBC, the plan would be for Apple EVs to debut as soon as 2024. And that the initial target would be to produce 100,000 cars a year. They would be built using an existing Kia assembly plant in West Point, Georgia. And built by Kia, Apple would be controlling, of course, what's the hardware and software inside. And that's where things can get interesting. Because sources told CNBC that the first Apple cars will not be designed to have a driver. That means these autonomous EVs would be built with package deliveries in mind, such as maybe for taxi or prime deliveries or what have you. These talks have been going on for years. I mean, we've been saying that there's an Apple car coming, and Apple really needs to speed things up. I mean, as far as the actual car manufacturer, I couldn't care less. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. All right, number 3, you can't always believe nutrition labels. You know that. Now, when iOS 14.3 rolled out to iPhones in mid-December, the update brought privacy labels to the App Store so that this way developers would have to really spell out what data that they're collecting about you and how they may be using it. Sounds good, but the Washington Post dug into those labels. And while you're supposed to get a bunch of clear information about what data is being harvested, Not all of it's true. Various apps were tested with a former National Security Agency researcher's help, and the results aren't always legit. I mean, listen to this. 1 in 3 apps reported that they collected no data at all. No data at all? Those apps include Match 3D, Social Network Rumble, PBS Kids Video, and Satisfying Slime Simulator. I don't know about you, but the Satisfying Slime Simulator is something like I don't have on my phone, but maybe you do, and it's also collecting a lot of data. Now, according to the post, the Satisfying Slime Simulator was sending information on your advertising identification number, which is unique to you, by the way, your battery level, free storage space, your volume setting, and your general locations to not just Facebook, but also Google. Apple responded to the post saying that they conduct routine audits of information. Developers are found not being truthful, they might be thrown out of the App Store. Well, think about this. If you can't trust the Satisfying Slime Simulator in your life, oh, really, what can you trust? Next on our list is more Apple news because they're taking user privacy further. They say in the next update, iOS 14.5, that's in beta right now, they're going all in, giving us the choice on whether companies can track us in order to target us with ads. It's called the App Tracking Transparency. You get a prompt the first time you open various apps, after the next update, of course, and then you have to grant permission for your apps and sites that track your data. Sounds good, sounds simple. But Facebook has been against this whole plan since Apple first announced it last year. And now Zuckerberg and company are really trying to convince you that targeted ads are the answer to all of life's problems. So, in preparation for Apple's iOS update, Facebook has been showing you a prompt on its mobile app for iPhones and iPads that asks if you'll allow Facebook to use your app in website activity. You see, what Facebook's trying to do is get in front of the problem. And Facebook says that by allowing them to track you, you'll get ads that are more personalized while supporting businesses that rely on ads to reach customers. And because of the pandemic, don't you want to support your local businesses? Okay. I definitely support small business being able to reach new customers. But this is not reaching new customers. This is Facebook being worried about their bottom line. So whether or not you want to have the app on the phone is your call, but I'll tell you, I don't have it on mine. And finally, number 5, fake it until you make it, and you're famous on social media. A few days ago, there was a new documentary/science experiment that premiered on HBO. It was called Fake Famous, and it's centered around one big question. Can just anyone become an Instagram influencer? Now, remember, it wasn't too long ago that if you wanted to be famous, you had to do something better than anyone else. You had to work harder. You had to be smarter. You had to go to school. It was something that you perfected your craft. Now, armed with the right photographer and enough money to buy fake followers, you can also buy fake likes and comments. You too can be an influencer. You see, the goal is to make money by promoting products to your followers. So these wannabes, they show life anyone would just die for. They would just want this. So they have to be in private jets. So here's what they do. If you're clever enough, you can take a photo, a selfie of yourself, sitting on the ground in front of your washer machine window, and at the right angle, it looks like you may be just looking out the window of a private jet. Or, believe it or not, in many cities and towns, there are fake private jets that you can just walk in and then take a picture. They charge you by the hour. There's also some places where you can go where they'll fire up the jet just so you can take a picture of it with you in front of it. Wow, people are just crazy. A kiddie pool filled with rose petals is a great background for a picture of someone relaxing at a really exclusive spa. They geotag where they're located, which is not really where they are. Exotic cars are often rented by the hour too. And then if you want to stay at a mansion and tell everybody this is where you live, well, there's always Airbnb. So what's a few $100 when you're going to rake in a lot more? Now, there are actually thousands of tutorials that teach people how to pretend they're on vacation when they're just hanging out in mom's basement, along with apps for photoshopping these fake trips. One influencer, get this, with 2.2 million followers, 2.2 million followers, posted photos of herself on Instagram saying that she was enjoying this luxurious vacation in Bali. Oh, who wouldn't want to be there? Well, the pictures were taken at the local IKEA store. I mean, I remember back in the day when influencers went by another name. Yeah, con artists. All right, coming up in just a few moments, there's a website that will show you that if your photos are being used in facial recognition databases, and then also how you can remove those photos. And then, of course, we have some scams to tell you about. Well, now they're impersonating FBI agents. It just doesn't seem to end. And of course, when we come right back, we're going to start the show with your coast-to-coast phone calls here on the Kim Komando Show. You can get the entire show, all 3 hours, as a podcast. Just head over to getkim.com. You get a free 30-day trial. Once again, that's getkim.com. And if you ever have a question that you're like, I'm not sure if it's ready for the radio, well, I read every single email that you send me. And your questions are used as our tips and also content over on the website. And again, you can send me your note by heading over to the website. Of course, that's Komando.com, Komando.com. And at the bottom of every single page, there's a link that says Contact Us. All right, how about we start this hour with Julie in Salem, Oregon. Hello there, Julie.
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my call. I appreciate it.
You got it. So what's on your mind, and how can I help you in Salem, Oregon?
So my question is, what is the best iPad for a piano app? And I can give you a little backstory. We were gifted a really nice piano, and we haven't been able to play it. We haven't been able to find a piano teacher to come to our house because of COVID, and we can't find somebody else. We can't find, nobody wants students in their house for lessons and stuff. So I've been researching apps to learn the piano, and I have no idea what kind of iPad to get.
Okay, so you don't have an iPad either. You're just thinking like this would be a great way to do it.
Yes, exactly.
You're pretty smart. Have you ever played a musical instrument?
I have. In high school, I played trumpet.
Oh, of course. I've tried every instrument and I could just never get it. I mean, when my parents gave me money to take piano lessons, I actually pocketed it. And then after like 2 years, my father looked at me and goes, you know what, honey, you've been playing the same song for 2 years. Maybe this is not the thing for you. And I'm like, oh, gosh, really? You think so? Yes. So here in our living room, we have a piano, but it's a player piano. So that's if that tells you anything. You just hit a button and all of a sudden it does everything. I'm like, hey, this Yamaha thing's actually pretty sweet. All right. So here's the deal. So as far as the iPad, I'm not going to walk you through the iPad. Basically, the only way to buy an iPad is that you look at how much money that you have to spend. And then you buy the iPad that fits in that budget. I would encourage you to buy a bigger iPad than a smaller iPad. You may not need the 12.6 inch, but the 10 inch is probably like a minimum. I don't want you to sit there with an iPad mini, especially, do you wear readers?
Yes.
Okay, don't get the mini. Okay, just get the biggest iPad that you can afford. Okay, because I don't want you sitting there saying, "Ooh, what is that going on with the screen?" Then you're trying to look at the keys, you're trying to look at the lessons, and things like that. So, the iPad is really fabulous when it comes to instruction like piano because you can see it and you can simulate it. Now, there are free apps and there are paid apps. I would encourage you to go with a paid app, at least for the first month, because you're going to be enthusiastic, you're going to want to learn, and with the paid apps you can see exactly what's going on, and then they're going to teach you music theory by just playing parts of certain songs, so you're going to get a lesson as well, so you're just not repeating keystrokes. Probably the best one out there is something called Playground Sessions.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and then
I was looking at that one.
Yeah, and Quincy Jones actually was behind it. And so you can also take lessons from Harry Connick Jr., which I think is kind of cool. And then there's also another one called Flow Key. So either one, Playground Sessions or Flow Key. For everybody else, I'll post links to these over in the Q&A forum at the Komando community. And when you get done playing, play us a tune and send us a song. Thank you so much, Julie. Stay right where you are. More of the shows coming right up. All right, before we go back to your phone call, some interesting things I want to pass along. Over on Komando.com, there's a great story that's trending like crazy. If you didn't read it, you might want to check it out. It's entitled, Your Car is Watching. Here's What Your Vehicle Knows About You. You know, some vehicle software can read the unique IDs of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. There's call logs and contacts, text messages, even when the doors were open and locations where you travel and when you were there. Now, the newer your car is, the more data that it's probably collecting. And that data can be accessed by not only police, but also criminals. We've got a ton of details over at Komando.com, including the repercussions of all this data harvesting. We've got some really amazing tips on how you can protect yourself. You'll find that over at Komando.com. Just hit the link that says Kim Show. And here's something that's a little scary. All the photos that you've uploaded over the years could have been used to develop a facial recognition system. You know, it's not all that uncommon for developers to train these facial recognition algorithms using images from different websites without telling the photo's owners. But there's a new tool that can tell you if it has happened to you. The site exposing.ai can help you find out if your photos were used, especially if maybe a picture of you or even your own photos, you ever put them up on Flickr. Flickr has a massive amount of photos, you know that, millions of them, and it's already known to be regularly used as AI research by companies including the likes of IBM. So when you visit this website, exposing.ai, you enter your Flickr username, if you've ever had one, a photo URL or hashtag, and then it will scan over 3.5 million photos, and maybe you'll see your happy face. Now, there's not too much you can do about it, but soon you could be able to use the site to request removal of your photos. And we have a lot of details over at Komando.com. I mean, I've actually heard that some of these systems can identify a person based only on a drawing. Whew, that sounds a little sketchy to me. Ashley in Kingsport, Tennessee. Hi there, Ashley.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hey, thank you. My husband and I love the show. We listen to you each week, so.
Well, thank you for that. Tell your husband I said hello. As a matter of fact, why don't you just give him a big hug from me?
Oh, I probably already have a few times today.
So what's going on?
Not much. We're looking for some great yet affordable security cameras. Around $200 or less. We live on a 170-acre farm.
Wow.
We're in the country, yet we're on a very busy road. Right, people mistake our road for Bays Mountain Park, so we have a lot of traffic. There's a lot of some of the break-in that happened up on the top of the hill recently, and so we're trying to find something to kind of keep our house secure. And we recently moved in, and we had 4 cats, and one of them was carried away by a fox also. So there's a few things we need, we're looking for, and me and my father-in-law, he's looking for some also.
Wow,
so
100,
that's your help.
That's huge. 170 acres? Wow.
Yeah, it is. But yet the road, we're right on the Reservoir Road, so it's traffic. I mean, it's insane. People will just sit and park right in front of our road or pull in our driveway and sit for hours. So, yeah, it's crazy.
So what are you looking for the cameras to do? Are you looking to catch somebody who's trying to break in, or what's the purpose?
Yeah, I need it to be simple. I need to kind of, I'd like to be able to download an app, obviously, to kind of view footage anytime. 3 to 4 cameras. I don't know for sure if I want it indoor or outdoor, because that's one of the questions I had for you. Wi-Fi, battery-operated, solar, there's so many different kinds. They just started running together. At first, I didn't really care about recording either, but now I kind of do, just in case there is a break-in here.
Okay, well, let's talk.
Yeah, not vision.
Okay, let's talk about the cameras. Okay, and you're right. When you go camera shopping, it's overwhelming. I mean, it's like, okay, well, do I want this? Do I want that? Or yeah, and so if budget is a primary concern, and you still want cameras, and you want some decent features. I mean, you want night vision, 2-way audio, and that's nice so that let's say you do get an alert on your phone, that actually you could pick up your phone, open up the app, and you can say, "Hey, get off the front porch."
Yeah, I saw that.
So that's really awesome technology. Now,
Yeah.
if you had the whole smart home going on with the Google Hub and smart windows and doors and all that other good stuff, is that I'd probably say, it's really hard to beat the resolution and the capabilities of a Nest Cam that comes from Google. The problem is that they are about $200 each, and then if it's outdoor, we need to buy an outdoor case, and then is it powered, and we got to get electric to it, and then it starts becoming a nightmare. Now, there's a brand.
I don't even know if we'll be able to handle that and install it ourselves also. So I wanted something really simple.
Right.
And,
So there's a brand called Wyze, and that's WYZE. Don't bother writing this down. I'll email you a link.
Okay.
And Wyze is a economical system that is battery powered. It saves anything that the camera sees for 14 days up in the cloud. It gives you the alerts. It has the apps, and 2 cameras are about $100, which is very, very affordable. It really is. And because there's no wires and it's batteries, just kind of put these suckers up, and then all of a sudden you got cameras where you're going. So for 4 cameras, you're looking at $200. Some things that it may not have facial recognition. So the Nest Cams, if I show up or if Barry shows up, the alarm's not going to go off because it's, that's Barry or Kim and they live here. So so there are certain things that you may not necessarily get with this, including like a schedule. So the Nest Cam knows when we walk in the house or walk out of the house or the backyard or what have you based on a schedule, and also by geolocation because it says I have the app on my phone, so it's not going to alert me. So there's some AI that's actually built into some of this. So you're not going to have it with these cheap cameras, but if all you're looking for is just a basic camera to tell you what's going on with the cats and what's going on with the front porch and who's camped out in front of your road, as you said, it's a busy road on the road to the reservoir and 170 acres. Wow, that's a lot of land. But if it's just that, it's really hard to beat this one brand. I normally like to give like 2 or 3 or 4 different brands, but if budget is always concerned, that's it. Now, if you're looking for more than just cameras, that's where you ought to consider a security system. And SimpliSafe has been my choice as a great wireless, easy to install, $15 a month security system. And you can learn more about that over at simplysafekim.com. But for everybody else, I'll post a link to these cameras, I promise, today after the show over inside the Komando community. So in case you want to check out those cameras, you got it. Mike in Charleston. Hello there, Mike.
Hello, Kim, the queen of Tech Commando.
Oh,
I'm a big fan. Thank you for taking my call.
You betcha.
Okay, so I have issues with my contact management. I'm a realtor here in Charleston, and I have so many different platforms where I need to have my contacts in properly and updated and edited that I can't seem to find a program or an app that will allow me to maybe have one point of entry that populates to the different platforms. Or better yet, if I make a change or add a contact, let's say on one of my web page captures, it actually will propagate back to my iPhone, my Gmail, my multiple listing service. And I guess for most people, it's only a few different databases of contacts. But with a realtor, we have social media sites, 4 or 5. I've got a CRM. I've got a brokerage site.
What are you using
for my realtor site?
What are you using for the CRM?
Okay, so RedX is one of them that I use.
Okay.
I also have a couple other ones: Infusionsoft, Follow Up Boss, Real Scout.
Wow. And you have like customer names and addresses in all of these?
Okay, so right, if I meet somebody, let's say I'm just walking and talking, or I'm at the grocery store, I can put them in my contacts in my phone. My iPhone, sorry, but later that day, if they call me, it doesn't show, or if they email me, it doesn't show up as a contact in my Gmail.
Okay, so this is very confusing. It is. And there's no real exact solution other than to you training yourself and using a tool that's made for this. Like, for example, if I get an email from one of our affiliates, I can send it to our CRM, forward the email to the CRM, and it will find the record for that radio station and then attach it right to that radio station. And so the whole idea would be if you had an email from a prospect, you could email this into the CRM and then it would populate it. And then it could also take in some files from maybe some from these other entities where you have data. So you have one place. Everybody loves to talk about Salesforce as this particular tool. And it is really good, but I found it overwhelming. We use a product called HubSpot. And I think it's something that you definitely want to check out for your CRM solution because it does allow you to import your data from other places. I've found it incredibly easy to use. It's intuitive. We have Jim, who is fabulous in affiliate relations, and he's on the East Coast, and he assigns me tasks. Like I got one today from him with our affiliate in Chicago. And so it enables us to have full collaboration, even though everybody's working remotely, but also it's one central place. We used to use something called ACT, which was from Sage Software, but you need a really big, robust CRM that's made for today's times. Sage ACT it's still out there, it's still viable, but I think it's laggy in some of the AI features that we've been using with HubSpot. So take a look at HubSpot. They're not a sponsor, it's a product that we use. And if you have any questions afterwards, we're more than happy to always help you out. You can always get a 30-day free trial inside the Komando community as well. And Mike, thank you so much for your kind words about the show. And hey, go get them, Tiger, there in Charleston. Stay right where you are. We have news about a major scam that people are impersonating the FBI here on the Kim Komando Show. Is then the first version, the scammers call claiming to be reps of a sweepstakes company, and that, guess what, you're the winner. The second version is a call from someone claiming to be with the FBI who's investigating the winners in the sweepstakes. So the bottom line here is that if you or your family gets a call from the FBI, an email from the FBI, it's totally a scam. Stay right where you are. We have another hour coming up here on the Westar Multimedia Network. Hey, thanks for watching a past episode of my national radio show. That's why it's called The Kim Komando Show Rewind. Now, to get the entire show, all 3 hours, when it airs live, or you can get on demand, head over to getkim.com and you can become a member of the Komando community. There are a ton of perks. Aside from just the show, you get free ebooks, a place to get answers to your tech questions, and more of me. So come on, what are you waiting for? Click that link right now and become a member. And thank you.